Beat Everyone is proud to be supported by Andrews Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center, home to the Alabama Crimson Tide team doctors and a global leader in sports medicine, research, and injury prevention. We've made a list. It's time to check it twice. Welcome to Beat Everyone. I'm Ben Flanagan with AL.com. It's the holiday season. It's Christmas Eve as we're talking right now. So while you finish up some last-minute shopping, you pick through those aisles, we're here to tell you who made the nice list, and yes, who made the naughty list in the world of Alabama football in 2025. Helping me to do that, Beat Everyone producer, co-star of SEC Shorts, Matt Scalisi, this week playing Miami in their take on Home Alone in the college football playoff. Matt, welcome. That looked like a fun one to shoot.
It was very involved. It turns out it's Kevin McAllister deserves some credit for rigging up a lot of weird little Rube Goldberg machines because it took us quite a while to build those. But it was there is a gag that if you've seen it, there is a field goal kicking machine that we had to rig up. And I cannot tell you how pleased we all were to see it successfully kick a field goal. And really, I think that may be the future of the sport. I think we might need to talk about just automating. You know, it's the next job to be replaced by AI kickers.
Yeah, well, when A&M tried to, blow the machine at you, and you were just mildly annoyed, that was a great gag. And then the one that you weren't involved with was the joke that everybody knows Alabama doesn't run. I thought that was hilarious.
I may have contributed that line to the script. So it's hopefully people got my little double entendre there.
I love it. All right. Well, Matt, we know you and everybody out there, we're busy right now. So we're going to make this quick. You know the drill. If it works for Santa, it works for us. Simple concept here. We've got the nice list and the naughty list, and we're picking 2 per category each. So why don't we start with you first on your naughty list as it relates to Alabama football in 2025?
Yeah, look, I feel a little bad about it. Not too bad. Not bad enough to not put him on the list. But Ryan Williams, buddy, I got to put you on the naughty list this year. Look, I think he is. I hate doing that to a young person who's still figuring out their career. But again, it's professionalized now. This is your job. Ryan Williams gets paid to catch footballs, and boy, he has not done a great job of catching the football this year. And I hope he figures it out at Alabama. And if not, I hope he figures it out somewhere else. But I think it's look, I don't say it with malice in my heart for sure, because I think Brian Williams is super likable. But it's tough. It's tough to see this team look so good and get so much momentum going, and they get this incredible athlete wide open downfield, and it bounces off of his hands, and we've seen it happen so many times. I think if that's the one missing piece. I'll say this retroactively, we'll hang on to your gifts, Ryan. And if you can figure this out before the Rose Bowl, we'll just hang on to your bag load from Santa, and we'll give them to you after New Year's.
A very conditional Christmas for
Absolutely.
Ryan Williams this year. You're right. Look, I mean, it's fair criticism, especially of someone who's getting paid a lot to play football and be at Alabama. And look, I mean, if anything, he could save Christmas for Alabama and all the other college football programs in the future, in the sense that the regulation will probably come sooner than later, you would think, based on performance, right? Like merit-based salaries or whatever you want to call it, compensation. Yeah. To play football. If you want to play here, you got to perform, and we'll see what that looks like moving forward, what kind of incentives are in these contracts, and who knows what. But look, we all love Ryan Williams, obviously, but what do they say? It's not show friends, it's show business. Well, I guess that applies to football too, sports entertainment. But we want to see him do well, clearly, and we're half joking here. We like the guy, and we can't wait to watch him play and perform at the level we've seen him in the past. But something's off right now. We're not sure what, and maybe we'll figure it out. So that's a good pick.
Hey, they call him Hollywood Williams. Ben, you gotta if you have a huge budget, you gotta come through at the box office. And we don't want to see an Avatar 3 situation on our hands with Ryan Williams.
Yeah, was it now? Yeah, like what he could be like Brentwood Williams or something, or like Inglewood Williams. I don't know, something like that. We'll workshop the name
Yeah.
a little bit. All right. Well, first on my naughty list, Matt, and I'm serious here. The Michigan coaching speculation, naughty. All right.
Yeah.
To be honest, we don't hear it much in Alabama, frankly, but the national conversation has really blown up around Kalen DeBoer in Michigan, and before that, Kalen DeBoer to Penn State. And look, like, this isn't wishful thinking because coaching moves obviously happen. The carousel chaos is real. Could it touch Alabama? Absolutely. We've seen crazier things happen. We've seen coaches leave Alabama for what they thought were greener pastures. And the season is obviously not over yet. So this isn't about calling everybody wrong about Kalen DeBoer leaving Alabama, because who knows what will happen in the future. But the reason it's on the naughty list is because look at Alabama's trajectory right now. If you're looking strictly through the crimson-colored glasses, through the Alabama prism, Alabama's retirement understandably sent this place into total meltdown mode. You remember it well. It was just a couple of years ago now. But Alabama was able to hire who they considered to be the best possible candidate, and Kalen DeBoer. Has it been perfect? No. 9-4 in the first year, missed a shot at the college football playoff. But in year two, they have improved. They've had big wins on the road. They've beat a bunch of ranked SEC teams, I should say, and now they've got a shot at number one Indiana. So Kalen DeBoer has kept the program in the national conversation. He has kept Alabama nationally competitive. He has the resources. He has the infrastructure to do it, but they're in it now. And Alabama is seemingly on the right path with him, but the coaching speculation is threatening to tear it all down. Like, is this real smoke? Has it all finally blown over? Like, either way, it's messing with the stability that we think we're seeing in Tuscaloosa now, Matt.
Well, Ben, I think this stuff is actually it feels novel, obviously, because everything does for Alabama right now, because we're in a time of such uncertainty after such a long period of everything being the same. But I think this is not that different for Alabama. The truth is, I mean, really, for at least the first 10 years, if not more, there was constant talk about Nick Saban going somewhere else. And I am reaching here. I don't. This is not an evidence-based claim that I'm about to make. I think personally that a lot of this stuff comes from a sort of baked-in bias, I guess, by people around the country that Alabama couldn't possibly be the destination job. Why would anyone choose Alabama over some other place that is more important to them or more culturally relevant or whatever it is? I really do think that's part of it. And I think it went away for Nick Saban eventually, because I think every time it came back up, people said, "Well, we've been here before. We've seen that he's probably not interested in going anywhere else." And I think that's the only way that it'll go away with Kalen DeBoer is the longer he's here, the less, the fewer people will believe that he's going to leave for another job. But I think it's just something you have to deal with for a while. There's always obviously the national media feeling that the NFL is inherently better than college, and anybody who had the option would always leave for a pro job. And then I think there's people around the country, and I'll probably touch on one of these on one of my other items on my list, who just view, to them, Michigan, Notre Dame, Texas, these are actually the places that are honorable to go to and coach at. And Alabama's not one of them. They've happened to have been very successful in every decade for the last 100 years, but it's just coincidence. It's this backwoods kind of goofy SEC fan base, and nobody would want to be there if they had another option.
Yeah, I think these top coaches, if you even want to go basketball with Nate Oates, the way that he has glowingly talked about Alabama as a destination, they know Alabama wants to be good at sports, and they'll do whatever they need to be to put them in a position to be successful. And that's including these days spending millions of dollars to get the best players to come play here. And Alabama is obviously we've joked and talked about them being kind of behind the eight ball when it comes to NIL, and maybe there are better NIL situations at other programs, but Alabama's always going to stay competitive. And I think Kalen DeBoer realizes that, believes that, and obviously Oates and these other coaches that want to be here. But we'll see. But Michigan speculation, naughty. Let's focus on nice for a minute, Matt. Your first pick on the nice list.
Yeah, I'm happy to say this is a guy who maybe was trending naughty list and has turned it around, and it's Ty Simpson. I mean, I think Ty has been such a look, a roller coaster of a season for him, but I think it's fun to see it come back up. In some ways, you feel even better for a guy to have a game like he had against Oklahoma if after he's been struggling, because it shows that he has resilience, which is a whole other quality that can't really be quantified or replaced. And I think there's going to be all this talk about Fernando Mendoza going into the Rose Bowl, right? The Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, and he looks spectacular, and he's so good and so consistent. But I think the one thing you can't really measure about a guy like that is how he's going to do when his back's against the wall, right? He's never been in a situation where he was down 17 and had to lead a comeback on the road. That's something that Ty Simpson has experienced now, and we've seen him lead multiple comebacks for this team in hostile environments. Alabama is one of the most. I would say out of all the teams left in the playoff, nobody has been in as many tough situations this season as Alabama. And Ty Simpson, every time, Ty Simpson is the guy that had to get them through it. Now, obviously, there's other guys on the team that have made huge plays, but it all was built on Ty making huge plays at crucial moments. And I think regardless of what happens from here on, I think you have to look at the season he's had as impressive and heroic, and in many ways he put this team on his back to get them all the way to the college football playoff quarterfinals, and to a Rose Bowl appearance. And I'm not sure. Ty's maybe not the most talented, polished quarterback that we've seen at Alabama. I'm not sure there's anybody who's been in as many tough situations as him and managed to throw his way out of it.
Matt, I don't know. I think that Indiana and Fernando Mendoza, they've been in some sticky situations too. Let's be real about that compared to Ty Simpson. I mean, you open the season with Old Dominion, gutty 13-point win over Old Dominion. Then you got to go straight into Kennesaw State after that. Then you got to play.
That's bowl winner Kennesaw State, by the way.
Well, then you got to play Indiana State right after that, and you get a 73-0 win, incredibly impressive. But then, you got to face a top 10 opponent in Illinois after that, and you get a 53-point win against a legit top 10 opponent in Brett Bielema's Illinois team. And then, obviously, you got out a 5-point victory over Iowa on the road the very next week. So was not an easy quarter one, let's say, for Indiana and Fernando Mendoza. So compared to the things that Ty Simpson has faced this year, you have to put things in perspective, Matt. But I appreciate the pick. I think, though, that whoever scheduled their season in 2025, obviously on the Indiana nice list. Matt, my first nice pick here, it's Kalen DeBoer, right? How can you not put Kalen DeBoer on a nice list? Obviously, this guy's the poster boy for the nice list. Everybody else is shooting him dirty looks right now because he's the winner several years running. He's like the teacher's pet when it comes to Santa Claus year in and year out. So don't let the hoodie of death fool you, right? Like, in all honesty, like we obviously got to meet Coach DeBoer earlier this year, just a few weeks ahead of the season. Definitely lived up to the reputation of being a good guy, making time for us and so many others, doing all these appearances, promoting the program, cluing us into what to expect in year two. And what really honestly lands him on the nice list here, Matt, is the program is in a better place than it was a season ago. This time last year, we were all gearing up for the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa. a rematch against an equally downtrodden defending national champion Michigan team. And it was just awful to think about and then awful to watch because the game was just trash. But now, not only did DeBoer's team make the playoff, they won their opening round game at Oklahoma. They're in the quarterfinals. They're about to play top-ranked Indiana in the Rose Bowl. So exactly where you want to be if you're a fan of any team, especially Alabama. So, yeah, Kalen DeBoer, once again, welcome back to the nice list.
And hey, by the way, Ben, the ReliaQuest Bowl this year, Iowa Vanderbilt, and I have to say, I think that is the kind of that's the kind of matchup that should be in the ReliaQuest Bowl, and those guys will be excited to be there. Alabama and Michigan, that is almost unforgivable that they made us watch that, Ben. That it took all year long for Kalen DeBoer to overcome that and end up on the nice list. One of the worst football games I have ever sat through.
It was awful, truly awful. I'm glad we're almost a year behind. That's behind us now. Matt, I'll go first this time and let you go last. I'll go naughty first in our second round here. My next pick for naughty, the Alabama availability report. I mean, is Leo Tolstoy on the Alabama payroll this year? Like that thing is like reading War and Peace, or at least it was before the SEC championship game. Like, we've obviously seen injuries to several key players at Alabama, like Jam Miller and Josh Cuevas and Tim Keenan, Quay Russaw, LT Overton, and it seems like we got good news that he would be cleared to play in the quarterfinal game against Indiana. So that would be fantastic.
Hear, yeah.
You know, these are guys that Alabama needs if they want to beat anybody, let alone the Georgias or the Oklahomas or the Indianas. So the good news is that a lot of these injuries are not season ending. They weren't anyway, and they've had time to rest. They've had time to heal. Jeff Allen and his training staff, we'll put them on the honorable mention for the nice list here. They obviously do a tremendous job. But, yeah, the injury bug has been really tough for Alabama in 2025. Let's hope they stave off any more as the playoff continues. Otherwise, give the availability report a lump of coal this year, Matt.
Alabama has certainly had seasons where I think we've looked back at it and said, man, they just had one too many guys that they lost down the stretch, and they couldn't overcome it. And it felt like it was maybe going that direction for a little while, and then we saw in the Oklahoma game, like they got a few of these guys in for just enough plays that they maybe dodged this bullet, and now they've got 10 more days to rest up and get ready for this Rose Bowl game, and that can make such a huge difference. I fingers crossed here, but I think Alabama may have avoided the sort of catastrophic injury situation that could cost them a season. And like to me, win or lose, it's just so much easier to stomach your season going out on a loss if you had all your guys, right? You hate to look back, the 2021 national championship game. You hate to look back at that and go, gosh, well, how does that game go if Alabama has its top two receivers, healthy and available in that game? I think you'd rather see everybody on your team anyway playing in the game. Now, Alabama's going to be enjoying the advantage of Indiana being without its best pass rusher. And, I really hate that for them. Will I consider that a less impressive win for Alabama if they pull it off? Absolutely not.
All right, Matt, your next naughty pick.
My next naughty pick is the ACC, Ben. They have been, frankly, ruining college football for the entirety of this year. First off, you got Florida State fooling the world by beating Alabama in that season opener. It truly warped everyone's perception of so many different things. And it's so funny. I have friends who are fans of ACC teams. All year long, I have to hear from them, hey, that looking at their record, making fun of all their bad losses, and then saying, hey, at least we beat Florida State, which, by the way, basically everybody did except for Alabama. But, you start off with that one. The ACC is such a mess all year and has such a weird system for determining who goes to its championship game that the one team from this conference that made it to the college football playoff didn't even play in the conference championship game. And because of that, by the way, we ended up getting a second a second group of 5 team. So everybody who complains about half of the first round being basically a waste of our time, you can thank the ACC for that, for letting Duke win its championship, wreck the first round of the playoffs. I think this league is a real mess, and I I suspect sooner or later that we're going to be welcoming some of its members into the SEC fold. Maybe by the end of the decade, if I had to really take a shot in the dark at it.
Ugh. Well, the SEC had to blow it and let Miami beat one of their best teams from the 2025 season. I mean, fans
It's a
of
great
your
game, though. By the way, I actually loved the A&M Miami game. I thought that's the entertaining kind of incompetently played game.
you're just biased because you played Miami in the SEC.
I do. I love. You gotta. I mean, for people who've never been to Texas A&M, I will say it's very easy to laugh at their goofy fans and not take them seriously. It's a truly great environment in its own weird way, and it's super impressive when it's rolling. And I loved. I mean, that's like one of those moments for me watching that game. Of I I have a lot of issues with this playoff system, but I love the on-campus first round games. I think that's a black. I mean, great for Alabama too. How fun was it hearing? I mean, you can hear the audio in your TV. It's like it goes from both speakers blaring to that pick six happens, and it's like you can only hear it out of one little part of your speaker where the Alabama fans are.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
awesome.
They were loud for the second Lotsier Brooks touchdown too. So Alabama fans showed up, but yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. The on campus first round games, tremendous addition to the college football playoff. All right, we each get one more nice pick. Matt, I'll go first. Surprise myself with this one on the nice list. The College Football Playoff Committee. We gave them a lot of grief during the season whenever
you're the
they'd roll
only
out
person putting them on the nice list this year, Ben.
whenever they'd roll out the committee chair, Hunter Yurachek, after their latest announcement, we would hear some ludicrous explanation why this team was here one week or this team had jumped another team the next week. But as it relates to Alabama, they had them behind Notre Dame at one point because Alabama didn't run the ball very well at various points of the season, which we've covered. But once it was time to lock in the final 12, they looked at the resumes and they positioned Alabama obviously in a good spot ahead of the SEC title game, win or lose. And they stuck to the precedent that they set last year, and they didn't punish Alabama for making their conference title game. Now, let's be clear. Alabama did not show up in Atlanta. They played the worst possible game that they could have to make their final case for a playoff bid, but credit to the committee. I can't speak for Notre Dame or Texas or even Vanderbilt after they let in these G5 teams like Tulane and James Madison, who, as expected, got blown out in the first round. But unlike 2024, Alabama earned their spot in 2025, and they further proved it at Oklahoma last week. So while this feels a little out of character, Matt, I'll admit I'm putting the committee on the nice list.
Yeah, unexpected, but good for them. I do ultimately think they were. I think they were in a really tough position, and it's their own fault to a large degree. And I think they need to stop. They need to stop doing the weekly ranking shows. It's not helping anybody except for ESPN's bottom line. Uh, and look, it'll be better for all of us if we just don't even have the opportunity to watch a show like that. I understand the interest and the compulsion to watch it. You are torturing your brain to watch that show every week, and I think the committee put themselves in a corner where they had to say, okay, we have to pick between Notre Dame, Alabama, and Miami, and we can only put two of them in. And I mean, obviously, this is an Alabama show. I think that most people feel that they got it right there, and maybe there are a few people who perhaps vocally disagreed that they got it right after the first quarter of the Alabama Oklahoma game, and those people, frankly, well, I don't want to get put on the naughty list. They ate something that can be found in a cow pasture. I'll say.
Well, they'll never be heard from again. I just wish you would not beat around the bush when it came to the college football playoff announcement show and tell us how you really feel about it, Matt.
It's
All
got
right.
to
Well,
go.
yeah, it's rough. All right, Matt, your last nice pick. We're going to end on a positive note.
This is a this is a go with me here. Uh, I'm putting on the nice list the pro Notre Dame media members out there. Uh, because look, I think if there's one thing that this Alabama team needed, it was a little bit of extra motivation. They got really hyped up nationally middle of the season. Everybody was singing Alabama's praises. They got it figured out. They looked like one of the best teams in college football. And what happened? They couldn't really follow through on that. They went into a slump. And they struggle against Auburn, but they get the win. They go out there and they absolutely lay an egg against Georgia, and suddenly everybody's out on them, right? Everybody's saying Notre Dame should have been in over Alabama. This Alabama team doesn't look good anymore, and it's not about what you accomplished during the season. It's about how you look going into the playoffs, and clearly Notre Dame looks like the better team. I think it got to these guys. I think it got into Alabama's heads. I think it fired them up. And so I'm grateful to them for, as Nick Saban would call it, the finest rat poison you could possibly offer to this Alabama team. They needed the motivation, and I'll say, look, I'm frankly getting a little uncomfortable with how many people are starting to pick Alabama to beat Indiana. I don't want to see that if I'm Alabama. I want the doubters. I want people. We need to be funneling more of this maybe go find some like Indiana football podcasts if those exist somewhere, and have them start pumping that into the locker room to say Alabama will never defeat mighty Indiana. Their proud tradition. I'm sure there are people saying that, but I think look, ultimately I think that there are some very loud voices uh, who have decided that the Big Ten and Notre Dame, which sort of has just become kind of a de facto spiritual part of the Big Ten, that brand of football is better than what Alabama's doing, and they've decided that Alabama can't win this game, and I just think that's the one thing this Alabama team needs to push themselves over the top. So I'm grateful to the haters, I guess.
I look, man, I'm all for a petty nice list pick here, Matt. And there are those Indiana podcasts that exist out there saying that college football is not the same. This is not Alabama's sport anymore.
You'll have to share those with me, Ben. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, well, and there are Alabama fans reacting to it saying, well, I guess, like, what's the point of even showing up in Pasadena on January 1st? Like, if this is the
I,
case. So,
I'm really happy for Indiana. Genuinely, like it's hard to hate a school that has that kind of history where they've truly never won anything at this level. But like, I'll just say, as somebody who over the years has had to eat a ton of crow, right? Like as a person who works in college football media, we love to throw our opinions out there very definitively and then have to eat it later when we're wrong. I'll just say maybe wait until you win even one college football playoff game before you start talking that level of trash to Alabama. It's
yeah.
not that hard. It's not just hold it in for one more game, guys. And go into the semifinals. If you beat Alabama, crow all you want. But maybe just win one playoff game before the trash talk.
They've had a lot of time off too, Matt, and we've seen how that works. You remember the BCS days when these teams would have like 33 days off
Oh, it was
until they
wild.
played the
And they
national
always,
title?
yeah, and they always came out and played absolutely. I mean, they looked like it in the first quarter of a lot of those games. They always came out super rusty and ugly.
Yeah. Well, I saw one fan, and I think it was even in our comments, who said, I've never been more confident about a game than I am about this Indiana game for whatever. So Alabama fans are feeling confident. I think like when you get a playoff win, it does gives you like a little bit of that swagger back, a little
For
bit of that
sure.
momentum where you think, okay, if you can come out of a 17-0 hole against a good team on the road when the stakes are as high as they are, then you can probably beat anybody. Whether that's the case, we'll see. Indiana's top ranked for a reason. We joke about their schedule earlier, half serious about that, half joking. All it takes is one win for them to take it to Alabama, but the same is true for Alabama to take it to a top ranked Indiana team, because they've got the target on their back now as the number one undisputed team until further notice. So it's a great pick, Matt. I appreciate it. And we've got a long way to go until January 1st. At least it feels that way. Well, hey, Matt, thanks for doing this. We hope that you aren't playing Alabama in any SEC shorts anytime soon, because we know typically that's not good
That's
for
right.
Alabama. But either way,
you don't want a guy. You don't want the guy with facial hair playing your team. I mean, it means the SEC shorts crew has decided your team doesn't have their stuff together. So,
well, either way, Matt, thanks to you, and Merry Christmas. And hey, everybody. I mean, I hope you have a peaceful and happy holiday. I mean, spend time with your loved ones. Celebrate college football, argue about it, whatever you and your families do during the holiday season. We'll be back next week to break down this Rose Bowl matchup that we're talking about. In the meantime, we appreciate all of you spending time with us this year. And you can obviously find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please share your takes. We want to hear from you in the comments, and we'll share them on the show. But check back in with us next time. He's Matt Scalisi. I'm Ben Flanagan. Merry Christmas, everybody.